everybody, nobody could have relations with Goyot, but he could. This guy could. Besides, you know who we're talking about? The people who used to go to war, it's not, was not really based on their, ability to fight. We know that the conditions was big tzaddikim. You read that Perasha, all the conditions they have to have Yirei Shamayim, they have to have a lot of conditions. Anybody, Hayareh, Verach somebody who would think that he made an Averah, says the Rashi there, what kind of Averah? Maybe he spoke between the Tefillin Shel Rosh and the Tefillin Shel Yad and the Tefillin Shel Rosh. What a sin, You should go back home if you're afraid of the war, It was all very spiritual. People were very, very holy. These people at war, it says, hey, you like the girl? Yalla. That's a big, hard thing to understand. So Rav Yechezkel Avramsky gave the following pshat. It was very simple. A person who is at war, he's nervous, he's under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. I remember a quote that my teacher in Lucien de Hirsch taught me. Mrs. Gourdou. Remember Mrs. Gourdou? You had Mrs. Gourdou?
I don't remember.
You don't remember Mrs. Gourdou? Professor of history, 6e, 5e. Mrs. Gourdou. Mademoiselle Gourdou. She was never married. She used to love chocolates. I used to give her a lot of chocolates. Because I was very bad in history. So with this I was able to. Anyways, Mrs. Gourdou, she said the following. One smart line only that she said in 2 years old. She said the following. Yeah, because they taught us, the Shiur, they taught us the Egyptian divinities and the Greek divinities. They have to teach this in the Jewish school. The Zeus and all these guys, Anyway. All these Mishugayim. Anyway.
It's nice,
It's part of history, I guess. A god that died.
Yeah, Greek.
Can you imagine?
Greek.
It's interesting, no? A god that died. You think about this. It's ridiculous. Anyways, so Mrs. Gourdou, you know Mrs. Gourdou? You didn't know Mrs. Gourdou? So Mrs. Gourdou, she taught me the following. She said in the name of Napoleon, a great soldier is, what's courage? To be courageous in war. Napoleon said, it's not somebody who's not afraid. It's somebody who is afraid, but is able to control his fear. That's courage. Somebody who is not afraid when he goes to war, that's a meshuga. It's something else. Mrs. Gourdou, kol hakavod, I'm telling you.
Chapeau.
Yeah, chapeau. One time in 2 years, I'm telling you, it was abor rekel b'mayim. It was the only thing. It's pure lashon hara. It's not nice, Mrs. Gourdou.
In the name of Napoleon.
If Mrs. Gourdou gone on the side and she understands English, which she doesn't,
We'll call this Mrs. Gourdou.
Maybe she didn't.
meet Mrs. Gourdou.
Friend request.
Yeah, I'm leaving. Anyways, so these people were going to war. It's a lot of pressure, war. It's a lot of, they're not themselves, they're not secure, they're not. So, that's the way it is. Says Yechezkel Avramsky, at this moment, the Torah enters the psychology of the person and knows that he may need more attention than in a regular case. And in this case, he's not able to control maybe his passions when he is with a woman, etc., is far away from home, etc. It could give him a sense of security, whatever. So Torah says, I know you don't have the tools to fight that Yetzirah. And I will not order you to do something that you can't do. Therefore, Torah says, here, you could do it. The consequences are terrible, because right afterwards it talks about Ben Sorer Umoreh, the wicked son. So the Chachamim say, hey, you're going to marry this lady, you force her into Judaism. It's not going to have any very positive outcomes. But are you allowed to do it? Yes. Why? Because you can't control it. From here you learn, says Rav Koskas Avramsky. At all the other mitzvot, you could do it. Because if not, the Torah would have said, don't worry about it. You see, Torah said, don't worry about this lady, no problem. Take her. Abed Sasur? No, don't worry. I know you can't do it. Says Rav Koskas, you have a proof from here that the rest of the Torah, you could do it. 100%. Don't tell me maybe I can't. That's the answer to your question. Can you do it? Yes, you could do it. Is it a long process to get there? Yeah,
But you could still.
I always say that's why Baruch Hashem we have a long life, because slowly, gradually we grow, and that's life. It's about growth.
There you could still do it. Like the people that went to war, they could still control themselves, so they could do it also.
Apparently, with so much pressure, etc. He said, meeting a lady, she's gorgeous, she's looking at you, etc.
I'm sure it happened, but they still control themselves.
Okay, it's not. It maybe
so they can
subnatural people that are able to control their passions and their instincts. But if a man falls for this, you can't. You can't count him accountable. How to say? Huh?
You can't be accountable. So that's the only time where you.
The only time.
It's the only time.
So he says, you see from here, he's looking for other times.
I'm just interested.
Maybe the Torah gives you another, loophole here and there.
Example of this kind of event is David Ameller with his son
Shalom.
Shalom, with the son of we know the story. What happened.
Right. The outcomes of these kinds of connections are not extremely positive. But anyways, again, he's allowed to because he can. That was just to answer your question. Anyways, that's the first part. B'chol levavchem. Interesting. Why b'chol levavchem? You have to have your whole completely focused only on the tefillah at this moment. Number one. Bet. Second thing that he learns from here. Hainu gam lesharesh milibo ba'avodat atfilah. Ta'anuge ha'olam va'anaotav mikol v'akol. Let me translate. It includes also, he says, to uproot completely from his heart in the service called the tefillah, ta'anuge ha'olam, the pleasures of this world. If you want to dedicate your whole concentration, your whole brain to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you must separate from anything worldly, anything mundane. V'hanaotav, and their pleasures, and the pleasures of the world, mikol v'akol, completely be removed from your heart, if not it's not 100%. Ve'ach, and only listakel kelape ma'ala, to only look up. That's why a lot of Chacham the Chida says when you do the tefillah, you should have the face up. That's what he says. Interesting. Right? It could be down because of anava, it could be up because also if you could look at the sidur, or you close your eyes, up.
Not in the middle.
Anyway, straight. That's it's okay. Whatever. It's inyanim, it's not halachot. Anyways, listakel, it's not a physical thing. It's a concept. It says actually in Mishnah Brura, there are 2 times that a person should be looking. During the Amidah, you're supposed either to look at the sidur or close the eyes. To look around, you're not going to have 100% your heart concentrated. It's extremely hard. But there are 2 occasions you should. Is if there is a great Hacham and it inspires you to see how he prays, for example. This is one occasion you should look. There's another occasion you should look is if you have a view on the sky. He says when you look up the sky, you quickly get the idea how small we are and how great heaven is. So therefore, if you are next to a window, if you're going to look up, looking for the stars or looking for the planes or looking for this, that's not exactly what the Mishnah Brura meant. What it meant is to see once in a while you see the sky, it reminds you of Yirat Shamayim, how small you are, or Kisei HaKavod, all the colors that we know, the blue, etc.
Question also if you are empty
If
you are in the ocean and somebody that you can see the ocean, it's the same concept. To see the ocean.
It gives a lot. We saw the Rambam in 2 places talks about it. In Ilchot Yesodei HaTorah and in Ilchot Teshuvah. In both places it says that it's a mixed feeling looking at the mountains or things that are humongous, very, very big. At the same time, you feel yir'ah, you feel fear because look at the guy, you like this. You ever saw in these movies and these pictures, you see a man and the mountain. Like, look how small a person, even a tree. Look how small I am. So that brings you a lot of fear, and at the same time brings you a lot of love to God. Look how small I am, and still He made me, etc., and I'm here. So it's like a mixed feeling, says the Rambam. You have both, Yir'ah and Ahava at the same time. Anyways, it would work also for anything. Marabu Ma'asech Hashem brings you a lot of Yirat Shamayim when you amazed at the Beriat HaOlam.
Right, there's no inyan about davening indoors with a seal.
Yes.
There is?
So I said there's a window.
No, I'm saying so.
It's
preferable to indoors, not outdoors.
Yeah.
What's
covered.
What's the
If you don't have any option, you are in the middle.
If you have the option praying outside, praying inside, praying inside.
No, I mean if you don't have any
Why is
option.
that?
What's the derivative of that?
Why is that?
it's in מקום,
But if you don't
כל
have any
הקובע מקום
option,
לתפילתו.
you are walking in the street, you don't have any.
Actually, you don't have
You
a
could,
choice.
it's not
You
asur.
could.
You said
It's
it's
not asur.
preferable if you have a place covered. Let's say you have a minyan. I remember in Orlando, in the parks,
Yeah.
already minyan.
It's in the middle of.
It could be in the middle of nowhere. There are certain places with the thing. So I remember,
Why is
I
it
thought that
better
maybe we
if
could
it's
pray
covered?
here. It's better, you know. Huh?
Why is it better if it's covered?
It's like a makom. It's more also helping the concentration. It's I give you another halacha which is similar to this. Is you cannot pray on something which is high.
Stage.
Let's say on the chair, on top of the chair.
Because then you're being inclined to look.
No, because you're afraid you're going to fall.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example. You cannot pray with the siddur closed and you're not looking at it. Or because you're afraid it's going to fall. You don't want it to fall. You know how many times a person puts the siddur like this and it falls and in the middle of the Amidah you pick it up. And so you have to make sure at the time of the Amidah anything that is going to distract you is going to go away, which is the same idea as here. 100% focused in what you're going to say. You pray outdoors, you have more chances to be distracted than you pray indoors. That's clear. You know. So second thing is make a complete distinction, make a complete separation with worldly causes, mundane pleasures, and yourself. כמו שאמרו, as it says in the Gemara, המתפלל צריך שייתן ליבו למעלה. The person when he prays, he has to have his heart למעלה, up there. What does it mean, up there? Up there means separate from the worldly place that you are. Basically, it's like as if you elevate yourself in a higher level. There is not something worldly. עד שיהיה כל כוח ליבו משוחרר רק למעלה. To the extent that all his heart, all the power of his heart, כוח ליבו, the strength of his heart, משוחרר רק למעלה, should be pulled towards heaven, towards highs, and not the opposite. להתענג על השם לבד, to only enjoy that presence of God. בתיבות התפילה, through the speech that quote unquote was imposed to us through the tefillah. I don't know if you ever had this feeling in the tefillah. I can say I had it once.
It's a gift. Huh?
Once I could tell you, I remember exactly how I was, I'll never forget exactly the beracha I was saying. One time I felt that feeling of extreme climax of talking to God. I would love to have it again, but never came back. Anyways, once, if you know that feeling of enjoying just the fact that you're next to God, it's something you'll understand why tefillah doesn't mean asking for mundane things. You separate yourself from all these things. You connect in a different way. You're not asking for things. You disconnect from the world and you just invest in Shamayim. Levad, only God. Only God. וכעניין החסידים הראשונים, like these pious people, the early pious people, שהיו שוהים שעה אחת, we know, everybody knows the Gemara, that they used to wait 1 hour, כדי שיכוונו את ליבם למקום, that they should connect themselves with God, to have the full concentration with God. I'm just going to open a parenthesis. If it's just about asking things, you don't need an hour of preparation. Maybe the hour of preparation was a notebook.
Hey, make a list of what you need.
Let's make a list today. Okay. You need $3 million for your korbanot because you have to bring right, 1,000 Shabbatot of Chilul Shabbat, as you said.
For example.
That's 3 million. And that's from the time you started being Shomer Shabbat. Before that, everything is recorded. Right? Before that, he doesn't know who it is. Should I say? You need $3 million. Maybe you should ask for $3 million a couple of days until it comes here, but what's this hour of preparation?
You gotta come
We're
with
all famous, it's a famous Gemara, everybody knows the hour of preparation and the hour to come down. Well, afterwards you want to review the list. Did I forget anything? What is that? What's this hour of preparation? Is it just about asking? You need an hour? Philippe?
When you go to a
Oh, I just said your name! I just said your name! Oh!
Philip,
No, he was not the same guy.
If I ever say by mistake, you can't ask him anything because he's a Kohen, they already know that he's a Philip Kohen. Oh boy. Anyways,
if you want.
an hour preparation, it's just a lot of interesting points that we have to think about. What is tefillah? You know, disconnect completely from this world, fully connect to God. Those are concepts that are new. שהיו שעים שעה אחת כדי שיכוונו לעולם